Yeah. Here's my jam. Who's dancing with me? It's not the same if we don't do it together. Over there, over there. Hey, hey, ho, ho. We are getting ready for the build-up and getting ready for the beat to drop and the next fitness show. Hello and welcome. I got to get my pattern down there, but I'm getting there little by little every week. Hello and welcome. I am certified personal trainer Mary Beth Rockwell from the Next Fitness Thing. Welcome to the Next Fitness Show. With me, as always, is our CEO at the Next Fitness Thing, also a trainer, also a yoga instructor, also a beautiful human being, Alexis Craig. Hello and welcome.
Hi.
And always happy to have you and your assistants on board here. I could not do this without you. Thank you, everybody who's checking us out live. We appreciate your company in real time. And for those who check out the recording as well, we love you too. So if you can't make it live, please do. We're live every Friday at 1 p.m. Pacific time, but that's why we record it just in case. On today's show, we are stoked that Dr. Kristin Wingfield is back with us. We recorded an interview with her yesterday. She is my longtime sports medicine physician. She is about to go to the Paris Olympics with some official duties, and we're going to talk to her about that and a little something that she and I are going to be doing this coming week, and we'll talk about that a little bit more too, so stay tuned for that. We have another question from the TNFS mailbag. If you have any, of course, you're welcome to send yours in for us to answer them, and that address is tnft at thenextfitnessthing.com. Please send yours in. The mid-show stretch break and the move of the week, we have lovely things coming up for your core today, so yay for core work. We are going to have a bunch of coming attractions. In fact, one of them tomorrow that we're going to remind you about for those of you who are with us live. And then we're going to chat. If we have time, we got a little summertime tip for you as well. So thank you again for everybody checking us out on YouTube. We love you for that. If you have not yet subscribed, you know I'm going to ask you to. Please subscribe, hit that button and help us grow. Like our videos, share our videos with anybody you think might get something out of them. We're doing this for your health. So, and everybody else's health as well. So share those videos around. The more traction we get, the more eyeballs and ears, it's going to help us grow exponentially. Thank you for everybody that's doing that. And then hit the notification bell if you would like to get an alert every time we put up something new, which is happening more and more lately on this YouTube channel, by the way. So thank you, TNFT team leader Natalie, for helping us bump up our YouTube presence. You are amazing. And then, of course, we would love for you to, if you're here live, get into the chat, drop in your reactions. Feel free to join in the discussion. And you can find us if you're looking for a place to work out and you are not yet a Next Fitness Thing member, what we call teammates around here. You can head and check everything out, TNFT at thenextfitnessthing.com. And then also our Facebook group is always open 24/7. That is facebook.com/groups/@thenextfitnessthing. Okay, we have Dr. Kristin Wingfield queued up and ready to go. I think we just talked to her yesterday about her upcoming very exciting plans. And Alexis, if we're ready to roll that, let's send it on over to Dr. Dubs. Wingfield, welcome back. It is a thrill to have you. Your first appearance with us on the Next Fitness Show. Everybody was raving about it, so we couldn't wait to get you back. How are you going? How's it going? You're getting ready to take off for a big trip here very soon, and we're going to talk about that.
Thank you. I'm excited to be back. It's always fun.
Yeah. Your first appearance, as I said, went over very well. Everybody heard about your backstory and was like, wow, she's pretty amazing. So you're going to be even more amazing because you are about to leave for the Paris Olympics and you're part of U.S. medical delegation that's going on behalf of the team, correct? So what is your capacity there? What are you going to be doing?
Sure. So I'm not actually going with the U.S. Delegation. I'm going with a body called World Aquatic Sports Medicine Committee. So I'm a sports medicine doctor as part of this committee that governs sports medicine for all World Aquatic events. So that includes swimming, diving, artistic swimming, water polo, and open water swimming. So we oversee the medical care of those athletes, and we attend all the events and all the meetings and liaise with the officials and make sure that everything is working and up to date.
That's incredible. It's a lot of responsibility, but you've done it before. You've traveled to other Olympics. We had that discussion previously. My question to you, did you tell us before we started you're going to go to the opening ceremonies?
I think so. I get to go to
Have you ever been?
No, I haven't. I've worked
Oh
with
my gosh.
teams before for Canada, and so you don't typically always get to go to the opening ceremonies. So
Okay, well, you better take lots and lots of video because we will have you back on and we'll watch all your video and live vicariously through you. So, um, elsewhere, you are a former elite gymnast. I just want to go back to, we have a question from teammate Aaron, one of our diehard teammates here at the Next Fitness Thing. And Aaron was asking us, how do you work with wrist issues as far as strengthening them? And being a gymnast, I'm sure you have a lot of experience with wrist stuff. So we as trainers can recommend exercises, but you are on the medical end of things that we're not qualified to. So talk a little bit about some of the wrist issues that you see or that you work with, and then how is the best way to overcome those, physical therapy or whatever. So what's your plan?
sure. So there's a few basic categories of wrist injuries. You can have an overuse type tendonitis injury, which is more from pulling and using your wrists over time, repetitive use injuries. Those we treat with physical therapy. Hand therapy for wrists is very helpful. They can help with inflammation. We do strengthening exercises and a lot of stretching and rest from the aggravating activities. Sometimes people will wear a brace in their day-to-day life so that doing the dishes and lifting milk jugs doesn't bother it as much to calm it down. Sometimes we use anti-inflammatories or injections. The other type of wrist problem we often see, especially in people who do a lot of weightlifting or yoga where you're loading your wrists, we can see some degenerative change, and some wrists don't love being loaded all the time, depending on their anatomy and if there's a little degeneration in there. And so that you treat with definitely with strengthening and some basic exercises people can do at home with their wrist supported on a table. You can just lift a small weight up and down like this in both directions, curling. You can twist. And so that with a free weight allows for a lot of control. That's helpful. You can also do things on a fist. So you can do push-ups on a fist if you don't love being in that position for too long, or you want to modify how much you're in that position. That can be very helpful as well. But of course, if your pain isn't settling down, you have swelling, you should see a physician to help you decide what's wrong.
That was my next part of this. So yeah, if it hangs around too long, then get that puppy checked because you don't want it to linger and become worse. In our Next Fitness Thing classes, we have a couple of exercises where like it's a renegade row from a plank position. And so I personally don't like to place my hands on top of weights to support myself. So I'll place one hand flat, do rows on one side, switch and do rows on the other side. And I find that helps me with my wrist. And I've been through the tendonitis and the hand therapy and all those things that you talked about. So that's my piece of advice for that. And then there was also Alexis actually brought up a question about back issues that there's a lot of people that are going through back stuff. So how does someone deal with that in their workout, and how does someone deal with that while they're not working out? What can they do outside of their workouts as well to help their back?
Okay, that's a great question. I just gave a talk on back injuries in athletes at UCSF yesterday.
Hey.
And 85 to 90% of the population has back pain. So it's a very common problem. And we don't necessarily image non-specific back pain that just starts. It's very common to have some muscular back pain, particularly with overuse, if you're lifting, bending, twisting, if you're doing, I find if you do heavier weight workouts, your back can get tight, certainly a day or two later, and that can sometimes hang on. So the most important thing about back pain is treating it with exercise. So backs love exercise. They love core strengthening. Glute work stabilizes and unloads the back, and a lot of stretching. And so back pain obviously varies a lot in what it could be wrong by age and mechanism. So if you have any worrisome symptoms like loss of control of bowel or bladder, or pain going down your legs, or numbness, tingling, you want to see a doctor. But if you just have a little bit of a low back pain and it's kind of chronic, you want to treat that with not sitting too much, trying to move throughout the day. You can certainly take anti-inflammatories, but I actually find that exercise works better for pain management. And so in the morning when you get up, you can do a little bit of stretching, some core work, bridges, a little bit of Pilates type planks and side planks, and that gets the muscles going, which helps manage pain. And then you can do it again later. If you have pain and you're injured, you want to do those specific things a little more regularly than you do when you're normally doing your maintenance. You know, people say, oh, 3 times a week for core, but if you have a sore back, if you do it more regularly, it helps with the pain. And then
a little bit every day. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you're sore, you modify a little bit and lower the weights until you kind of come out of it.
You mentioned Pilates-based exercises, and that kind of ties back into the wrist stuff from earlier, because a lot of Pilates, like mat exercises, you're lying on your back and you're not putting weight on your wrists. And so you could get a lot of core strengthening. And I remind our TNFT teammates all the time that your hips are part of your core. So it's like, if you think you're working core and you're just doing your abs, you're missing the boat, because your strong hips are going to help support your back. And I've been through that therapy many times myself as well. I know what I speak there. So thank you for that. You and I are actually, speaking of things that I've been through, we're about to go through something else. Last time you were on with us, you mentioned the burgeoning technology in sports medicine. And one of the things you mentioned was PRP therapy, which is platelet-rich plasma treatment. I'm going there this coming Monday. I have a long-standing hip that's bugging me, and you're gonna do some work on me. So explain briefly how this process is gonna work.
Right. So this is a biologic orthopedic procedure. And so, as you know, we don't like to use cortisone, which is a strong anti-inflammatory, too much. So once or twice you can use that. And then we prefer to use your own blood. And so we do something called PRP, where we draw your blood and then spin it in a centrifuge to separate the plasma, which contains platelets. Platelets are cells that go to a wound and build a scaffold for repair. They release growth factors and create a healing milieu. So they help tissue heal. And particularly with inflammation and long-standing tendon injuries, they can be very helpful in establishing new healing. And then with therapy and strengthening, that can help you overcome sort of a chronic problem. So after we centrifuge the blood, we then separate and concentrate the platelets. So we know that we want them concentrated about 5 to 10 times of physiologic baseline in the blood. And then we can inject that into the area with various techniques. Sometimes we'll poke in the tendons that are chronically injured, or sometimes we'll just put it in the inflamed area. And then with time and rehab after that, it can help with pain and inflammation and stimulate that issue to heal a little better.
I'm looking forward to stimulating my healing milieu. Thank you. I love that phrase. And we're going to do our best to record little pieces of this therapy as much as possible, so that we can show you kind of a little bit, a peek behind the curtain, so to speak, on this one. So we'll see how that goes. I don't want to be in Dr. Wingfield's way or anything, but yeah, we're going to see how that goes, and we'll let you know. And then I think the last thing I wanted to chat with you about, your website is finally up. Last time you were still under construction. So give us your website, give yourself a plug.
Sure. It's what is it called? sportsperformancemedicine.com. My practice is called Sports and High Performance Medicine. So I take care of lots of performing artists, dancers, and athletes and active people. I'm in Marin and in San Francisco, and I'm with the San Francisco Ballet a couple days a week as well.
Great. And for those who are listening who are not in the San Francisco Bay Area, can they say hi to you there?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. Just making sure that everybody was welcome. Not that they wouldn't be, but well, I cannot wait to see you on Monday. And then of course, we'll talk more about your trip before you leave. So we appreciate you taking the time always. You are always welcome back anytime. You know that. Dr. Kristin Wingfield, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Isn't she great? I just, now you know why I've seen her for so many years, because she's just a wonderful human being. We've got a lot of opportunity going on in the chat right now, by the way. Hello, Erin, who Dr. Wingfield answered your question about risks. Erin says, great advice. She does indeed give great advice. So thank you for that. Erin is accompanied in the live chat by Donna D and Anna and Natalie, a couple of our TNFT team leaders on board. Thank you all for joining us. Natalie has some stuff to say about being sedentary. I definitely can tell when I have sat too much. That's why I appreciate a job that keeps me moving. The more you can be not on your butt, the better. That goes for everybody, not just you, Natalie. Also, Natalie says, my wrists are definitely not a fan of being loaded by my body weight. So hopefully you got some good information from the doc there as well. And we loved Dr. Wingfield's healing milieu. This is the new vocabulary word. Alexis says we can all add that to our vocabulary. The healing TNFT milieu. Yeah. Okay. And Carol says hi. Hi, Carol. Glad you're checking in too. Okay. Well, always, we're going to be hearing from Dr. Wingfield again in the future, definitely. So, and Erin says also helpful with the low back. Yeah, she gave some great advice there too. And that was just something we threw out at the last second. So she's that good. Okay, let's go on to, speaking of your core and your back, we have a mid-show stretch break, an opportunity for you to wring out your spine a little bit today. If you're carrying any tension in there, today's move just might be for you. It is a lying down move. So if you're going to join us for this one and you can make your way to the floor, that's great. You could theoretically do this twist standing or seated as well, though. But what we're going to show you is a supine twist. So that's automatically you're lying on the floor face up. And I remind you, if you don't know the difference between prone and supine, up is in the word supine. So that's face up. All right, here is the lovely Veronica starting off on your back with your legs long, and then you're going to bend one knee and bring it across toward the opposite side of your body. And Veronica is outstretching her opposite arm to help open up through her chest and her shoulders. You do not need to touch your knee all the way to the floor on this one. You're going where your body's natural range of motion, pain-free range of motion takes you. Alexis, tell us what you're thinking about these supine twists here.
Sure. I love this one. This is a pose I do with pretty much everyone in every workout if I'm in control of the programming. I really love it. There's some different versions that you could do here. You could bring both knees over to the side instead of keeping one leg straight. The other thing I tend to offer with this is the knee that's coming over on the floor. If it's too far, like what you're saying, how it doesn't have to go on the floor, I often will prop it up. So like with a foam roller or even a pillow or whatever you might have around.
Yoga block, yeah.
Right, yoga block, just so you can kind of relax into it a little bit more and you don't feel like you have to hold it up all the time.
Right.
And I just
anybody who's doing this, make sure you switch sides.
Oh yeah, good point. Thank you for that. And the other thing I just love about this one too is it's really bringing that twist between the hips and the shoulders. And I love when you're saying this, wringing out the spine, because that is the sensation that I really am feeling in doing this, is this, the hips and between the hips and the shoulders, it tends to get so tight and kind of locked up, at least for me, especially when I've been a little bit more sedentary or if I'm really sore from moving. So doing this twisting action just feels like such a relief, and it allows me to even notice where the tension is. So it gives me a lot of information.
I will remind everybody also, I usually do whenever we're twisting, that it's good for your digestion too, because that same ringing thing is going on there. And if you wanted to make this, oh, by the way, Donna D, going back to the chat for a second, Donna D says, I appreciate Dr. Wingfield talking about low back in the morning. Yep, I'm right there with you. And then if you wanted to make this even just a little bit more challenging, you could do this with a straight leg. That's what we refer to. We talk about having a longer lever to work with. So when your appendages are further away from your center of gravity, which is your torso, there's a little bit more to handle. So I often will do this with a straight leg. That said, I'm pretty bendy and can get to that position pretty easily, but you do you, as we like to say. So make it work for you and find your comfy place, right? Okay, Alexis, anything else on the twist? Shall we move on?
No, I love it. That's great.
We are answering multiple questions in this show, because we next have the TNFS mailbag, which we're going to dip into once again. And again, if you've got any questions for us, they don't necessarily have to be health and fitness related. I remind you, they can be just for funsies. We'll take those too. But any of your questions, you're welcome to send them into tnft@thenextfitnessthing.com, as Carol did, who is with us in the chat. So Carol's question, and Alexis has the question on the screen. So on a recent walking class taken on replay, Alexis mentioned that the pace wasn't important when walking in the heat that a lot of us have been in. If the class is an interval type class, which is like a performance-based class going for speed, should we continue to adjust our pace slightly up and down, even though it's not getting to a fast pace? Alexis, since this was addressed to you, I again invite your expertise on this for Carol.
Yeah, thank you, Carol, for this question. I mean, this is great. Especially, I love getting the question from taking the class on replay, and then you get to ask the question. That's so cool. So that's great. And I just also want to say, okay, so when I said this in class, basically what I was referring to is we're in a walking class. Normally, what we do in those classes is we tell you, okay, now go to slow pace, now go to medium pace, now go to fast pace, now go as fast as you can at max pace, right? And there were people in class that were sharing, it's so hot outside right now. And so this question is really pointing to what we are getting at by directing you to these paces. So when we're encouraging you to go a specific pace, we're calling it a pace. But what this actually is asking you to get to a certain exertion level. So the pace itself of how fast or slow you're going is actually not very important. What we're really trying to do is to get you to push it to your max cardio threshold when we ask for max pace. Man, that's a tongue twister. Ask for max pace. And to bring your intensity, your perceived intensity down slightly from that for fast pace, but it's still pretty high. Medium pace is like you're kind of just getting moving and you are definitely doing something that is physical and it's a workout, but it doesn't feel like it's something that you couldn't do for a long time. You could do it for a while. So another word for this is RPE, rate of perceived exertion. So I think that's probably what you're just about to say.
That was what I was about to say. Exactly. Yeah.
Right. So with that, when I'm saying, okay, it's really hot outside, so you might not actually get to the max pace. You might not go that fast, but the exertion level would still be your max exertion level that you would be able to get to, even though it might be slower on that day. So, okay, that's a lot of backstory to answer this question, which is basically a yes or no question, which is, should I still vary my pace up and down? And what I would say to that is, yes. Feel into what does it feel like if I'm asking for a medium pace, do a medium exertion level. And if I ask for a faster pace, find a more intense exertion level that's not your maximum, but it's pushing it a bit. And if I ask for a maximum pace, then I want you to get to your maximum exertion level during that section. So that's really what's being asked for. And you would vary it, even though the pace might be slower when it's really hot than it is on a different day.
Just as your body will throw you different curveballs from day to day, your elements are going to do that as well. So what we say a lot around here at TNFT is do your best on any given day. It doesn't matter if that best is the same as it was yesterday or last week or whatever it was. That particular day, you show up, you do your best. And if it's 157 million degrees, your best might be a little less than it would normally be, but you still got a best. So listen to your body and do what's right for you.
Yeah, and especially when it's hot, keep it safe. You want to make sure you're staying hydrated. Don't get heat exhaustion. Don't get heat stroke. And I've had a lot of people shout out to everyone who's been taking walking classes inside when it's inclement weather, especially right now. I've had lots of people saying just today, I had several people inside either saying it's so hot, I'm not going out there. Or I had other people say it's raining cats and dogs and I'm doing this inside. So you can do some kind of walking around inside if you need to. Just saying.
Yeah. Exactly. There's always something you can do, right? So, all right, Carol, phenomenal question. Thank you very much for sending that into the mailbag. Again, TNFT@thenextfitnessthing.com if you have any more questions for us. Move of the week time. So we're going to have some fun with this one. It's still a core-based thing that we have for you next, and you're welcome to do this with us as well. And some of these are going to be, we have multiple videos we're going to show you on this next thing. Some of them are going to be moved. Some of them you're not going to be seeing any movement at all. It is a side plank. All right. Now, Alexis has unearthed multiple levels of how you can do a side plank. And again, if you're doing this with us, you're going to need to switch sides on this, just so you know. So let's see. Alexis is bringing up some videos, I believe. And you can do these on forearm plank with your hands down like so, and your forearms down. You could do it on your hands, kind of in a push-up position. You're welcome to elevate a plank to a wall or stable surface that's higher off ground. You can do a plank on your knee. This is kind of if we're building a car, this is the base model, we're going to say right here. So we'll build on some accessories later on and add them to the total. So the knee underneath you as a kickstand of support. Check out her alignment. Her elbow is directly underneath her shoulder, which is really important. I see some peeps sometimes that will place their elbow a little bit out to the side or a little bit inward. It's like, why am I having so much difficulty holding my shoulder level? It's just like, it's the foundation of your building. So that elbow should be directly underneath your shoulder to the best of your ability. Okay. And then also, and Alexis, of course, feel free to jump in here. I love that our model is looking straight ahead, not down the length of her body, because see what happens when I do that? It tilts my posture out of alignment. So look toward your side wall or wherever you're working, the side of your workout space. Alexis, and I see you. No, okay. I'll vamp for time until you're ready. There you go. Okay, hi. What else? The next video or photo, I guess I should say, some of them are videos and some of them are not, would be to come to the straight leg plank. And I think the next version that we have, here's Veronica back again. Now her feet are stacked on this one. So we're going to kind of being up and down in terms of degree of difficulty on this one. So she's on her forearm again, but she doesn't have her knee underneath her now. And her feet are stacked one on top of the other. So notice how her shoulders are stacked also one on top of the other, and her hips are also stacked one on top of the other. So this is technically a video, but she's holding in one position the whole time. That's an isometric exercise is what this is. Alexis, your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly a kind of big jump to go from one of those to the other.
Yeah.
I mean, if you are someone who struggles with this exercise, I would say there is this sort of intermediate version, but I'm going to show you in this video, but it shows the model doing it on her hand. So just picture that you can do this on your elbow too. And this is what it is right here. So you can see that she has one foot in front of the other. She actually just has one foot just slightly in front of the other, and you could make this really wide if you wanted to, like one foot way in front of the other, and you could do it on the elbow instead of the hand, just saying.
And you will have more support if you put your top front foot in front of your bottom foot rather than the other way around. I will say, check out her base elbow. I would ask her just to ever so slightly bend her elbow, because she's one who is prone to hyperextension, as am I. So maybe just a soft little elbow bend there, but that will help prevent stress and strain on your elbow joints too. All right, I mean, what do we got next?
The other thing I just want to say with these, especially with the straight leg, is that firing your glute is super important. And strengthening the glute is one of the benefits of this, but just like what Dr. Wingfield was saying, she was totally mentioning this exercise, which is part of why we chose this, but like, she's talking about activating your glute and strengthening your glute to support your lower back. So to keep this safe for your spine and supported in your spine, you want to make sure you're engaging your glute when you're in this position so that you're really, really stable. And the other thing to just mention with this 1 foot front, 1 foot back position is squeezing your inner thighs together will turn your core on more and even make you a little bit more stable. So that's something just a kind of trick.
Yeah, for sure. Another little handy tip there for you. We have more, in fact, and there is which is the next level is we have Dr. Wingfield doing one as well. So that's gonna be the most intense one that we're gonna.
You want to give that the most intense? All right, we'll give one more in between.
One more in between.
One more Veronica version, which is.
So she's still going to have that beautiful position. Yeah, no worries. She's still going to have the beautiful position with the shoulders hip stacked and the hips stacked. But this is a moving plank now with a hip tapping down toward the floor and then back to the position at the top of this is still basically the textbook version of where you should be in a side plank. So no sternum, belly button, imaginary line right down between your legs. So that's the alignment that we're going for in a good side plank. And again, she's still got the solid foundation, her elbow right underneath her shoulder, all of that. She's looking toward the side of her workout space rather than down. And this is more intense. If
Yeah,
you
this is
are,
pretty advanced, really.
yeah. If you were trying to do this one, if you can master a static plank, that's your base always to go back to.
Right.
If you wanted to, you could elevate this one is what I would say.
Right. That's a
Yeah.
good idea. And then the thing for me with this is make sure you really earn your progression. So meaning
Yeah.
like you don't try this unless you can already do the side plank on your feet with them stacked. If you are not able to do that successfully all the time, then don't try this one.
Right. Yeah.
I know it
Same
kind
with
of maybe
yeah.
sounds silly when I'm saying it now, but I think
Is
in
that old?
it's like in group exercise, people just see whatever the demonstration is and they just tend to do whatever you ask them to do. And it's like, well, wait a minute, you should probably do this version.
Peer pressure kicks in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Right. It's like that old joke, doctor, it hurts when I do this. Well, don't do that, right?
Yeah, really.
And then do we have Dr. Wingfield to finish it off? I
We
love
do.
this.
Let's do it.
This is such a great one. Now she's moving the whole thing. So she is again on her forearm, her elbows directly underneath her shoulders. She still has that alignment with the shoulders and the hips stacked. She's on the outside edge of one foot, and then the upper leg is doing a hip abduction. So lifting her leg out to the side, squeezing her outer hip and thigh. Nothing else is moving. She's not flopping around. She's got beautiful form. Her neck is long and neutral. I love this video. And this is very, very advanced. So if you're not here yet, you're not Dr. Wingfield. That's okay. Very few people are.
Yeah, namely one. But
yeah.
I would also say that this exercise you could do with the bottom knee down. So if you wanted to put the bottom knee down, if that's where you are, but you do feel ready to elevate the top leg, that would be a version that you could try.
There you go. Yeah. So we just threw a whole bunch at you, but that's just to illustrate that there are so many different ways that you can adjust the side plank to make it work for you and your fitness level and your body's parameters. So that was sweet. I love that one. Okay, we got a lot of announcements to get to, shall we? We have an event coming up tomorrow. For those of you with us live, that'll be Saturday, July 13th. It is our Disability Pride event. Our monthly community event happens at 8 a.m. Pacific time. That's all good. And disabilitypride.thenextfitnessthing.com is where you go if you are new to us at The Next Fitness Thing and you'd like to sign up and join us. That's where you go. That will help you get set up in our app. It's an annual observance because July is Disability Pride Month. And we pride ourselves on being open to all fitness levels. And we really, really mean that with this one. So, and this is Casey doing this one. Is that right?
Yes. And yes, just to mention, Casey's yoga class is directly before, so you could potentially go to 2 in a row.
Yeah. Yoga is at 7 a.m. Pacific time, and this is 8 a.m. Pacific time, right? So,
that's right.
Yeah. So get a little double dip with Casey. And then I'm on class 10 a.m. to noon, by the way. Shameless plug for me right after that. So
right. Okay, get a little lunch, come on back and work out with Mary Beth.
Hang for the day. All right. The next thing is we have the lovely and talented aforementioned TNFT team leader, Natalie, with her Walk With Us classes. They are becoming a phenomenon on our YouTube channel. And they are now set up Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. This is a regular schedule for 6 a.m. Eastern time. That is 3 a.m. Pacific time. That's why we record the classes in case it's a little too early for you. We get that. But we've been having a lot of fun with these. In fact, we're going to come back to this at the end of this announcement segment. We have a little bit of fun. We're going to save for the end. Am I right on that, Alexis?
Yeah. And I just want to mention there's live chat during this. And Natalie, part of the reason Natalie's doing this is because she wants to work out at this time. So like she's usually there. Live in the chat. So you can definitely engage. There's a whole morning crew of people that are in the chat taking this class live. So totally go and be in the chat when you do this and participate and everything. And then Fernando has class on Tuesday, Thursday at this time so that you can have a whole 5-day-a-week thing. You'll have strength on Tuesday, Thursday, and you will have walking on Monday, Wednesday, Friday with Natalie. So we got you at 6 a.m. Eastern, 5 days a week.
Nice how that all comes together. And since Natalie is recorded and often in the class live, it's double the Natalie, double the fun. So yay for that.
Yeah, and Martha's in the chat right now saying the walk was so fun today.
Yay! So glad you're digging these. Thank you, Natalie, again for stepping up and bringing these to us. So the next thing that we have to bring
Natalie
you away and
says
remind you.
usually, and she's like, usually? She's like, meaning she's always there.
Always, always.
She's always there.
Didn't mean to sell you short there, Natalie.
That's right. Good job,
Okay.
Natalie. You were on it. You were on it. She says, girl, I am always there. Good. Yes, we are seeing you for showing up to your workouts. That is for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Next up, we've got book club. Casey is leading the next one. It's going to be on a Sunday, July 21st. The book title for July, there it is, Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. As you can see there, and I knew this, but just in case you're looking, #1 best-selling author of The Fault in Our Stars. I saw that movie, but I have not read this book. I probably should. And Casey's going to be leading the way, and Anna and Casey hand it off to each other each month. Each of them does a different month and different book. So the July book and the August book and the times moving forward and the dates are going to all be on our website, which is thenextfitnessthing.com/book club. You can go directly there and find out all you need to know there. Now 40 minutes.
Yes.
Is this? Yeah, it's expanded to 40 minutes. The first one we did with Anna was 25 minutes long. Everybody said this needs to be longer. So it is now. You're welcome. So yay
and the
for
book
that.
was awesome. I read the book. It was great.
There you go.
I watched the movie too, which was really cute.
Yay. Okay. And then is it time for the funsies with Natalie? I think
we have one more first.
Oh, yes, we do. That's right. Yin yoga. Also, Casey. Casey's getting some stuff done around here.
That's
Trainer
right.
Casey brings you yin yoga, and that is going to be right after the book club on Sunday, July 1st. So that's going to be a 40-minute class for the book club. Come back 20 minutes later. You can do this lovely yin yoga class. Very gentle, relaxing class. Casey suggests that you bring props like a pillow or blankets because your body temperature can tend to decrease when you're doing this gentle yin yoga. And it's open to all fitness levels. Everybody's welcome. And Alexis, since you're the yogi, anything
the only other thing I'll say is the reason that you want the props, partly, yes, it is the body temperature thing. And the other reason is that some of these poses you're going to relax in that pose for a long time. So kind of what we were saying with those with the supine twist, you would want the pillow to prop under your leg so that you can relax, because otherwise you're going to have to hold it for a long time and you don't want to do that. So bring at least one pillow.
Good advice. Okay. And now we have a little fun. Not that this hasn't all been fun to this point. Freebie Friday, one of Natalie's classes in the Walk With Us series. She's got a little carrot to dangle, a little prize on the line, and we're going to announce our latest Freebie Friday winner. So we have a special little way that we're going to do this now. We're going to bust out a little wheel action here, I think. So
okay, let's get the wheel.
Alexis is grabbing the wheel. Take the wheel.
I'm grabbing the wheel. I love that.
Wheel.
That's hilarious. Hold on tight. All right.
Here it comes.
Are we ready? I think.
Sure.
Wait, let me make sure I'm sharing sound. Okay, I think I am. I think we're ready.
Okay, there you go.
You can see the wheel.
Let's spin the wheel. Let's do this. All right. So, who's going to win the prize? Daniela? Congratulations! Woo-hoo! All right, so you have won the awesome prize that Natalie has contributed for this class, and we're going to do Freebie Friday basically every Friday. So we'll have a little presentation to do every time that we have a prize to give away. So
and we'll get it together more of how to claim your prize by the time we announce this.
No worries, we're live. People get it. All right. So that's it for the announcements. That was a lot, I know. One really quick tip before we wrap the show. We wanted to talk to you about sunglasses and how important it is to protect your eyes, especially if you're going to be in the sun, but even in cloudy days, often you should be wearing some shades as well, because the UV rays can still get through those clouds. We had some advice from the American Academy of Ophthalmology that it's very important when you're shopping for sunglasses that you look for 100% UV protection so you can fully protect your eyes from all kinds of light. And these are kind of those like aviator shades, like the cool, hey, how am I looking at my aviators? They also recommend, the professionals do, that you go for wraparound sunglasses, because that way you're going to protect your light that comes in from the inside. You're going to protect your eyes that way as well. All right. So just want to drop that quickly in there. And quickly, Natalie says in the chat she will follow up with an email to Daniela about the prize. All right, sweet. There we go. It's all wrapped and official.
Thank you, Natalie. And I love that you're here live to support. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And with the sunglasses, the thing that was surprising to me on this is that it was like, I forget the percentage, but we talked about this in class one day. It was more than 50% of sunglasses that are out in the US are not 100% UV. Like, I thought, of course, all sunglasses are 100% UV, duh. But then the fact that we shared was that the majority of sunglasses that are out in the US that are sold are actually not 100% UV protected.
They should have a tag that says 100% UV protection. Yeah, and all kinds of light too, because they can be 100% for one and not for another. So it's a minefield out there. Don't go for just cute. You got to go for the ones that are protective as well. Cute's second choice. All right, second priority. I think we need to wrap this. It was a long one, but it was a good one. So thank you again to Dr. Wingfield for showing up with us again. Dr. Wingfield is going to be having some fun with my hip on Monday. Oh, that was the other thing I mentioned. Because I'm going to have that procedure on Monday, I am not on the Monday live class schedule. In case you're wondering why those classes are open, the replay library will be there for you in my absence. All right. So I'll let you know. I'll give you a full report once I get this done. I'm very excited about this procedure. So thank you, Alexis, as always. Thank you, everybody who was with us live in the chat. Thank you, everybody who checked out the recording. Again, please find your way to us if you're not with us already, thenextfitnessthing.com. Come take some classes with us and have a good time with us. And of course, I'm going to remind you one more time, if you haven't subscribed to this very YouTube channel, please do so now while it's on the top of your mind, and like and share and hit the notification bell and all things. And join us next Friday, same bat time, same bat channel, for the live crew on there, right? And we're gonna play it out as we always do. Oh, I need a high five. Sometimes I forget. What the heck? All right, I got it. I saved the day. All right, let's dance it out, team. Happy weekend for those of you who are here live. Happy whatever day it is for those of you checking out the recording. That's the way. I like it. What?